Do you regret it? Of course I do. I should have just walked away. Did you refuse to leave? I feel he did.
Yeah.
He did refuse to leave. Do you wish that now that you weren't carrying that knife?
Hi everyone! Thank you for watching. By law, I have to tell you that this is for entertainment purposes only. All videos are property of Psychic Liz Cross, LLC. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here with the amazing psychic Liz Cross. How are you doing today?
I am amazing. Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Mr. Photon.
So today we're going to cover the recently ended trial of Carmelo Anthony by request of some of our members, and I saw a lot of comments on YouTube, people requesting this. Just, FYI, I didn't follow this case super to the T, but
Mm-mm.
obviously it is important to people because they're requesting it, so I thought we'd cover it, and it's in the news right now. And of course, Liz, I don't think you've been covering it either. It's actually a good
No.
thing because, if you're blind to this stuff, then you're going to get a better reading sometimes. So, um,
Yeah. I didn't even know who these kids were. I'm sorry.
yeah, and that's fine. It's good. It's good in remote viewing that we have a blind target for you as much as we can. So, I'm sure everybody's aware of the trial now. It's pretty big news if you've been following it. And he's been sentenced to 35 years in prison. That is the latest news. I believe he's trying to appeal the case as well. So, I have some questions if we could actually bring in Carmelo for a mind probe. Is that possible?
Yes. Okay. What would you like to know?
So there's some kind of unanswered and lingering questions around this as I did my research. So a lot of people are wondering, why did Anthony bring a knife to the track meet? And obviously, that's illegal to carry it in as school rules, but I believe it's illegal to carry that knife in Texas where this happened. Well, why was he carrying the knife around? Is that something he usually did?
Why were you carrying the knife? Is that something he always carried his knife. Always.
Okay. And was there any other point in his history where he actually, maybe threatened to use it or maybe even used it in the past that we don't know about?
Did you use it in the past? No. Did you use it in the past? I mean, he used it, but not what to threaten anyone or self-defense. No, I'm not getting that he did that for self-defense or use it on anyone.
Okay. All right. So let's ask some questions about what happened that day then. So for those that don't know, this occurred at a track meet. It was raining and you know the victims were underneath their own tent, with their school, and then Carmelo walked over to the opposing school, and that's where the confrontation apparently happened. But we don't really know the exact nature and sequence of what happened. We have eyewitness accounts. So some of the eyewitness accounts say that Metcalf gave a hard two-handed push, not punch, push to Carmelo. And then someone else said he just, they gave him a little tap or a grab to get him to leave. So what has others say that he was ganged up on? There's a grainy surveillance video, but I don't think it really resolved any of the details of what happened. So what was the altercation like? Was hands put on him first, or was it just verbal?
Hmm. Were hands put on you first? No, we asked him to leave. Were they polite when they asked you to leave? He says, yeah, they were. And why did they ask you to leave? Because I'm not supposed to be there. I've got this guy standing here, the kid that died. So I'm going to ask him, why did you ask Carmelo to leave? Because we don't like him. We didn't like him. Okay, but wasn't he just sheltering from the rain? No. So what was he doing? He came into our tent. Okay. Did you ask him to leave politely? Now, according to Metcalf, he says no. We weren't polite. But Carmelo is saying that they were polite. So already, we got two different things going on here.
Okay. All right.
So
Interesting.
from Metcalf, then what happened? We told him if he didn't get out of here, there was going to be trouble.
Okay.
And why would you do that? Because it's just the way it is. Honestly, when I tap into his energy as a soul, he's like quite an alpha male, quite one of those high school kids, almost like what you would call a jock, or maybe that's not even the trendy term now, but that's what I'm getting from him. He's one of those kids that is just a little mean. So what happened then? So he started to push him. He started to push Carmelo. And then what? And then I feel others started to surround him.
Mm,
Okay. And then what happened? He pulled out a knife.
mm, okay. So when he pulled out the knife, then what happened? Did people back away? Did he charge at Mr. Austin Metcalf? What happened then?
What happened then? He stabbed me. He stabbed me. So let's go back to Carmelo.
Yeah.
Were you thinking clearly in that moment? No, not at all. And do you think that you were just very reactive? Absolutely. Do you regret it? Of course I do. Was
Yeah.
it as bad when you look back now as it seemed at the time? No.
Mm,
I should have just walked away. Did you refuse to leave? I feel he did because it was quite confrontational. He
yeah.
did, he did refuse to leave, but not, I feel that this all happened so quickly. It was like, too much testosterone in the room or in the tent.
Hmm.
And it was, I'm not going to take you bullying me. But he did get surrounded. He did. He was
Mm,
surrounded. And
okay.
then what happened? And then I stabbed him.
So you mentioned the word bullying.
Hmm.
Was Carmelo a victim of bullying in the past? Or there was what I've read is that they didn't know each other. Let's first ask that. Did they know each other at all?
Did you two know each other at all? No,
Okay.
not in this lifetime. Now, these two have been fierce enemies in past lives.
I'm
Definitely.
I'm gonna ask about that. I just want to get
Okay.
through some of like the preliminary stuff, but don't worry, folks. We're gonna get to that. That's my main questions that I want to ask. So, was Anthony like a victim of bullying in the past? Is that why he would be carrying the knife? What's the reason why he carries the knife?
What is the reason that you carry the knife? In case I have to use it.
Hmm.
What, for self-defense? For anything?
Hmm. Okay. All right. Um, the other question that I have is,
I've got a
go ahead.
question.
No, go ahead. Go
Do,
ahead.
do you wish that now that you weren't carrying that knife? Yes. Yeah, it's very much like I wouldn't be in the trouble that I'm in if I wasn't carrying the knife.
The other unanswered question was in court. Apparently, he didn't take the stand, and people think that kind of hurt his case for self-defense, which he was claiming. Was there a particular reason why he didn't take the stand? Was he
Why,
advised to, or was that his own choice?
why didn't you take the stand? I was advised not to.
Okay, that
They
makes
thought that it would absolutely obliterate him and back him into the corner and make things much worse if he took the stand.
right from the prosecution, cross-examination, I guess. Um,
Yes.
okay. The other contention out there that the public has noted is that there was no black jurors apparently on, in the trial. And obviously that's contentious for people, and this is being framed a lot in the media as racial. So, was there any, in the background in the judicial system, was this on purpose? Was this just how the jurors?
There were multiple ethnicities.
That's what I read too. There was. There was a few different ethnicities there. I don't think there was, that I know of, a black juror in particular. So was there anything there that would have been on purpose, or was it just the way that the jury selection is always chosen, I guess is my question.
Is there anything there on purpose? Well, the jury's chosen. Were there black people? I don't feel that there were black people on the jury. I feel that
Mhm.
there were other ethnicities on the jury.
All right, fair enough.
He will
Um,
win the appeal.
oh, really? So yeah, that was
As in, as in he will appeal. So will he win the, I feel he's going to win that appeal and it'll have to be a retrial.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So this is not over yet. Very interesting. All right. So I guess my questions that, again, before we get into the metaphysical stuff, was what's going to happen to him in jail? But it sounds like there's a chance that he might not be there for the next 35 years now.
Might
Um,
get convicted. Will he still be convicted? I still think he'll be convicted.
okay.
Okay. But he'll win the appeal on the fact that there was no African Americans on the jury. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The other question that I have is, now this is reports. Obviously, I'm not making claims. I don't know the truth, but that's why we're asking questions, that there was possibly some misconduct from the parents around raising funds for his defense. And I have a picture of the parents here. Um,
Okay.
I believe the claims are, and again, I don't know what's happened. We're just asking questions, that they purchased some luxury items like cars and possibly even a home with the money that they raised for the defense. So were there any misappropriation of funds in this manner?
Were there any misappropriation of the funds in this matter? Let me speak to the mom. Did you the money that was used for the GoFundMe for your son and his legal expenses? Yes. What about it? Did you use it to buy your own things? Yes, they did.
Okay. Were like, obviously they need to pay expenses for things, but was it, I heard things like they bought expensive cars and possibly even real estate. Is that true or not?
Did you buy a car? Yes. And
Okay.
real estate? Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
But
Yeah.
did you use that money for his legal defense? Some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it was used for the legal defense. All of it? No. Not all of it was. Is there anything left over? No.
All right. Well,
They
how would they?
actually need more.
Right. So how will they, if this appeal, like you're saying, is going to come, obviously they're going to need more legal defense funds. So where
Right.
are they going to raise that hmoney in a similar fashion, or how's that going to happen?
Are you going to raise money? Is Carmelo appealing? Yes, they've got an appeal thing launched, or they're in the process now. And if that appeal is approved, how are you going to pay for that? It's going to be public defender. Are you planning to raise more money? I mean, they are. They are planning to raise more money. Are you going to spend it on the legal fund for yourself? I mean, some of it, yes. Do you think that you're entitled to this money? Yes.
Why do they think that? What's their,
Why do you think that? Because it was given to us. What do you think about your son? He's innocent. Do you think it was self-defense? Absolutely 100%. You know
interesting?
what? Any mom would,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Let's face it. We're all, all parents out there. Of course, we're going to, most of us, especially in these circumstances, you're going to side with your kid, aren't you?
Sure. Absolutely.
Of course we are.
Yeah. Okay, let's ask some questions from Austin Metcalf, from where he is now in the spirit world. And this is hard to say, obviously, because it's a tragic event, but what was the most important lesson that your soul intended to learn through this lifetime?
What was the most important lesson that you know? That it's easy come, easy go. He needed to learn that. With his ego, he thought he was invincible, as most teenage boys do,
Yes,
right?
every teenage boy thinks they're
Of
invincible.
course,
I
you know.
can definitely
I mean,
say
that's nothing new, is it?
no.
That's anybody who's a boy mom knows that. So he needed to learn that though. He needed to learn the value of a lifetime. He needed to learn that he should be more humble. That was another big lesson.
Right.
He very much was, did you bully? I mean, he's known for bullying. I'm sorry to say that, but and people won't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, he's kind of one of those kids, and it may look harmless on the face of it, right? Where you make fun of kids, or you sort of stand up against them and you flex your muscles, you know what I mean? And you intimidate others. That's this guy,
Mm,
Metcalf. He's telling me that.
right.
And
Okay.
this is a problem in a lot of his lifetimes. He, are you quite, how many human lifetimes have you had? He hasn't had that many human lifetimes. He's quite a young soul. So there's a lot of lessons that need to be learned around the ego, around humanity, valuing lifetimes, valuing the lives of others, how you make others feel, kindness, humble. I'm not saying he wasn't a good kid. I'm just saying he's one of those kids that would intimidate on occasion other boys.
Right. And typically, would it be in the spirit world from their or spirit's perspective that when you are on some of those lower lifetime levels, because we all go through, have hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes, maybe even
Mm.
thousands, is this kind of a typical kind of life lesson that you would learn? Is that typical of like, the lower levels of life spans, or I don't know how you would say it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm getting a yes on that.
So we've all been there.
The taming of the ego.
Yeah. I'm sure we've all had a slice of humble pie in our previous lifetimes at one point. So,
And this one,
yeah.
it's just unfortunate that it had to be an extreme in order to realize that, life can be taken away in a second. It's the shock factor, right? Because some souls do plan things in the lifetimes which are so absolutely shocking and horrific, and it happened so quickly. He
Mm,
needed that shock in order to try to humble his soul a bit.
mm,
So let's ask this question. Do you think you've learned your lesson? As he's standing here with me now, yes, a little bit, but it could take many, many lifetimes. And like I said, these two have had contracts before where they've been at each other's throats. So why they keep, now they're stuck in this karmic dark loop of, okay, now it's my turn to hurt you, your turn to hurt me. I mean, this needs to be broken because in this lifetime, this current lifetime contract, it is basically Carmelo saying, okay, well, I'll be the perpetrator in this lifetime on a soul level. And not saying he was a perpetrator. I'm not accusing him of that. But what I'm saying is that was the basis of the contract. I'll be the one that takes you out in this current lifetime.
mm,
And, next time you can take me out. We're using one another in this extreme way to try to grow and humble ourselves. Because the lessons for Carmelo, this is the thing, his lessons were he definitely had a fear element going on, but he also had an ego element going on too. I mean, look, they're teenage boys. Again, no surprise. He's going to have a tough time in prison, okay? Because even though he was a tough kid out here, he is no match for those guys in prison. And he's going to have a really tough time. It's a shame because what's going to happen, we think that people are going to go to prison and they're going to be these reformed characters. And prison is so hard that you actually, if he thought he had to carry a knife before he went to prison, I don't know how he's going to protect himself in there because he is going to be up against a lot of hardcore people. I can see it.
I would imagine. So the previous incarnations that they shared together, how long? I mean, he hasn't had that many lifetimes apparently. How many lifetimes has Carmelo Anthony had?
How many lifetimes has Karmelo Anthony had? See, they're both just hovering around 150 to 200, which is in human terms, that's quite young.
Hmm.
Um, and especially with the evolution of consciousness, the wisdom, we talked about that in the CTT workshops. Um, it's still relatively young for both of them. It's a shame that they can't break this karmic loop between them because now, as Metcalf is standing here, he's like, yeah, it's my turn in the next lifetime. I wish this loop could just be broken and they could find other ways to grow instead of this.
What would
But
it
these are
take
the
to break
loops.
that?
These are the loops that souls get themselves into, right? I mean, we see this time and time again. Now, if we go back to one of our CTT sessions, and everybody always asks the question, why do souls keep choosing what they know over and over, the same scenarios? And the reason we got back for that was that they try to not plummet their energy fields, soul energy fields, into further darkness. So they go with what they think works for them. You see what I mean? So they're making these assumptions. That's why a lot of souls do not want to try new things, new adventures, new ways to grow in the lifetimes without the use of these cycles and loops. And because they're just so frightened that maybe the new adventure, the new way to grow would create a deeper karmic debt hole than what they were before they entered the lifetime. Because they're just, that's what we do as souls. We make this assumption that based upon all of these circumstances in the lifetime, when I get to the other side, I will have resolved or somewhat resolved this issue. So that's the assumption of consciousness. They don't actually know exactly the full consciousness, right? And that's what these two are doing. This is why they keep doing the same thing over and over. And
Hmm.
it's a shame because being in prison all those years will put you in a deep, dark hole. As I'm channeling Metcalf here, to be honest, it humbled him a bit, but not what his soul wanted to achieve was a complete humbling. That didn't happen. So he's carrying that energy with him into the next lifetime. And so will Carmelo.
Hmm.
And so what would it take for these two to break it? They need to completely break down their entire energy fields, whether here or there. And they need to like start over again and transmute any and all negative energy in the soul contract into positive white light self-love. But these are most souls are 300 to 400 lifetimes. If you think in terms of like 150 to 200 lifetimes as humans, that's quite primitive as far as consciousness is concerned.
Yeah. Okay. The last question I have from the other side for Metcalf is, do you believe the intense public attention surrounding the case was part of like a broader purpose?
He Take that the public attention and run the case. Yes, well, of course, it created a lot of intense emotions for millions of people, that kept their eye on this case, that were paying attention. I don't know why people do get obsessed with crime. I would love to do a probe on that, but I think it's the psychological factor of everything. How did people end up in these situations? How did people get to this point? And we want to know everything about all these cases. And people do get very obsessed, but also at the same time, though those emotions are being expressed, and as we know in our CTT group, those emotions feed the machine, feed the
Mm,
energy machine, right? So,
interesting.
so the fact that it became public, that actually, on a karmic scale, gave them both good karma because they managed to create a scenario that really fed a lot of energy into the machine.
Interesting.
And the energy machine, it takes that energy because it has to in order to be self-sufficient, this whole system. Um, so they did create good karma for themselves individually, but as far as like breaking the karmic loop, no, that did not happen.
Mm, okay. All right. Well, it's a tragic story and it doesn't sound like it's
Yeah.
over yet. So if there's any big
No.
updates, we'll come back and maybe do another one. But is there anything else that you'd like to ask before we leave, Liz?
I mean, you know, being a parent is hard, isn't it? You think you do everything right by your kids, and then unbeknownst to us, because we've experienced the mind wipe, your kids could have set themselves up on these soul journeys that are so heartbreaking. It doesn't matter what you do as a parent, how much you do, how you know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
but on the soul level, of course, the souls know, oh yeah, you we'll get, we'll grow from this, we'll get that out of this situation. Yeah, maybe we'll all gain a lot of wisdom in this lifetime and hopefully clear some steps on the ascension ladder. But then, of course, we're subjected to the mind wipe. And as a parent, you're just like, God, this is just so devastating. This is awful. Where did we go wrong? What did we do? How did this happen? It's just so unbelievably sad, really. But the mind wipe is sad. Maybe if we were able to understand it a bit more, but I don't think parents and would ever be able to understand this ever in a million years. You will never, while with your conscious mind existence here on the earth plane, how could anybody possibly understand this? They can't as a parent.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is like that. And it's just, it's the way that, unfortunately, our consciousness is in this system
I
to be
know.
able to evolve. And yeah, we are here with emotions, living our lives, even though we programmed in these shocking things from the other side.
Mm.
So it's hard
It's
to,
terrible.
yeah.
And like yesterday in the CTT group, we got an idea that came through, like an aha moment, which is, wow, wouldn't it be nice if the conscious mind, the physical conscious mind, actually was the first thing that was created in the spirit world, and then the soul and the conscious minds of all the people in the soul family, then they basically plan together instead of the soul without the input of the conscious mind makes all these plans and scenarios, and then it's the conscious mind that has to deal with it here on the earth plane. But is that going to happen? No, that they're not going to change the system up there to benefit the conscious mind. The conscious mind is what it is. The soul just thinks, well, we're just going to go on to the next conscious mind in the next lifetime, big deal. But
Mm.
I wish that there was a way in order so that people do not have to experience these terrible events, that the conscious mind was consulted by the soul to say, hey, do you think that this is a good idea to put everyone through the ringer to create this event? It's over in a flash. One kid gets put in jail, one kid dies. The parents are, you know, they'll never understand it. They'll never be able to live the same way again. Their happiness has been completely destroyed and taken from them. Do you maybe is this such a good idea? Actually, no. Let's do living the lifetime light. You know what I mean? And it's just that's what we got yesterday in the CTT group. And guys, if you're not in the CTT group or listening to the CTT videos, I can't tell you how much you're missing out. There is so much information there that gives us some real insight to why these contracts are made. And that yesterday was like, yeah, of course, that makes total sense if we were able to consult with the conscious mind first. But no, it's not the order of operations.
Yeah, I agree. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us again for this video. We'll be back with the next one very soon. And if you enjoy the videos I do, please consider, looking at my tip jar on Ko-Fi.com. Much appreciated to everybody that has chipped in on that. And yeah, we will see you on the next one, folks.
Yes, thank you so much.